Today's lesson is on adjectives. What are they? How do we use them? You probably know that adjectives describe nouns. Well, there's a little more to it than that. So let's get started with some rules.
Rule number 1. As you know, adjectives describe nouns, and in English, we usually put them just before the noun it describes. For example, did you see the beautiful sunset? Here you can see that beautiful is the adjective, and it's talking about what kind of sunset you're looking at. So beautiful describes sunset. Jack told a funny story. What kind of story did Jack tell? He told a funny story. So funny describes story. Got it? Okay, rule number 2. Adjectives can come after the be verb or another linking verb to tell something about the subject of the sentence. Other linking verbs include appear, become, feel, get, look, seem, smell, sound, and taste. For example, we can say, "You are amazing." In this sentence, amazing is the adjective, and it's describing you. This is how we use adjectives in sentences with linking verbs. Another example is, "You look tired." Tired is the way you look. Another one, "The garbage smells horrible." There you go. Yuck. Rule number 3. In English, we don't make adjectives plural. There's no plural form of adjectives. Don't add an S to an adjective. We can say, "We visited an ancient town in Italy," and we can say, "We visited some ancient towns in Italy," but we can't say, "We visited some ancient towns in Italy." It just doesn't work that way in English. And rule number 4, we have to use articles for nouns, right? Well, if we have an adjective before that noun, we have to put a or an before that adjective if the noun is a singular count noun. Use a before an adjective beginning with a consonant sound and an before an adjective beginning with a vowel sound. Remember, look at the adjective, not the noun. Here's some examples. She goes to a good university. The adjective begins with a G, so you're going to use a here. We live in an old apartment. We use an because of the vowel sound in old. Climbing Mount Everest is a unique experience. If you haven't watched my pronunciation videos, you might be confused here. It's true that unique begins with a vowel, a U, but we go by the first sound, not the first letter. The word unique sounds like it starts with a Y. Unique. So we're going to use a instead of an here. A unique experience.
Okay, that's the basic information you need about adjectives. But have you ever seen a word that seems to be a noun, but it's being used like an adjective? Here's some rules about using nouns as adjectives.
Sometimes we use nouns as adjectives. In this case, they describe the noun that follows them. Like, another way to say, "I sat on a bench in the park," is to say, "I sat on a park bench." Here, park describes what kind of bench I sat on. A park bench. See how that works? Rule number 2. When nouns are used as adjectives, they do not change form. So we can say, "The plane ticket was expensive," and we can say, "The plane tickets were expensive," but we can't say, "The plane's tickets were expensive." Just keep it simple. Nouns that are used as adjectives don't show plural. The fact is, adjectives of any kind in English do not change. This is easier than in some languages that have gender and plural versions of their adjectives. We just have one word, and that's it.
So that's the easy part. Here's the part that can be tricky. We have many English words that are often broken by native English speakers, but there's one that we're usually very strict about. It's word order. You know that when we make a sentence, we put the subject first, then the verb, and then the object. Well, when we're using adjectives, we have a very specific word order depending on what kind of adjective we're using. If we use these in the wrong order, it's going to sound strange to our ears. This is going to take a lot of practice and a lot of listening to English speakers so that you'll be able to tell when something sounds strange. I'm going to first show you a chart that outlines which kinds of adjectives come in which order. Then I'll show you some sample sentences and we'll put them in the correct order. First, the chart.
The first thing we're going to say about a noun in the sentence is what we think about it, our opinion. This is where we say something is nice or lovely. These are things we can't say as a fact, it's just what we think is true. The next type is size. If something is large or small, fat or skinny, that kind of thing. Then age. Is this thing old or new, ancient or modern? Next, shape. Is it a square, an oval, a trapezoid? Whatever the shape is, this is where it goes. Next one, color. We often talk about what color something is, so here's where that adjective goes. Next one, origin. Where did this thing come from? Is it a French thing? Is it Canadian? Here's where you put that. Then we talk about material. What is it made of? Is it cloth, metal, plastic? Here's where you say that. Finally, the last one is when we use a noun as an adjective. Let's practice with some sentences. I wore my new black leather shoes. We'll put in the first part of the sentence, I wore my, and the noun at the end of the sentence, which is shoes. As you can see, we have 3 adjectives, new, black, and leather. New goes in the age column. Black goes in the color column. And leather is the material, so it goes in the column for material. It's what my shoes are made of. Let's do another one. We made a delicious chocolate cake. I love making delicious chocolate cakes, almost as much as I love eating delicious chocolate cakes. This time we have 2 adjectives, delicious and chocolate. Delicious is our opinion. There are some people who don't like the taste of chocolate. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. My mother didn't like chocolate. Weird. Anyway, delicious is in the column for opinion, and chocolate describes the material, what the cake is made of. So, delicious chocolate cake. That's the correct order. Let's keep on going. Next sentence. We ate at a small round table. Small goes in the size column, and round goes in the shape column. Small round table. That's how we say that. I work in an old red brick building. Old goes in the age column. Red, of course, is a color. Brick is the material that the building is made of. So the sentence is, I work at an old red brick building. We saw some beautiful Chinese paintings. Again, beautiful is an opinion, so it goes in the first column. And Chinese is where the paintings come from, so it goes in the origins column. It's where the paintings originate. He gave her a gorgeous wedding ring. Nice. Gorgeous is our opinion, and wedding is a noun that's being used as an adjective. Gorgeous wedding ring. Okay? And the last one is, that's a great German soccer team. Great is our opinion, German is the origin, and soccer is a noun being used as an adjective, so it comes last. Okay, now let's have a look at the rules and we'll be done with adjectives. Rule number 1. When more than one adjective is used to describe a noun, they usually follow the order in the chart we just looked at. So it's okay to say, we saw some ancient Egyptian sculptures. But it's really weird to say, we saw some Egyptian ancient sculpture. That's even hard for me to say. Rule number 2. Be careful of this one. We rarely use more than 3 adjectives together. It gets confusing to list everything you can think of about a noun. So it's okay to say, they live in a big brown house, but it's weird to say, they live in a beautiful big old brown house. It's just too much information. Why are you so impressed by their house? Rule number 3. Use a comma or and between adjectives that give the same kind of information. For example, he's a kind, patient person, or he's a kind and patient person. Or if you're using a linking verb, he's kind and patient. The linking verb is be, in this case, he is. Do not use commas between adjectives that give different types of information. The examples are, I have a big orange cat, no comma. And she has short, curly, blonde hair.
That's the information you need to have to understand adjectives. Next video will be all about adverbs. Be the kind and wonderful people I know you are, and I'll see you next time.